What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor at FightfulWrestling.com. Head on over there. Lots of stuff. We had a breaking news podcast today talking about the All Elite Wrestling Rally. We will have more on that at the end of this show. Myself and Alex will talk a little bit about the signings. We're going to talk about a lot of the happenings that went down there. But we got SmackDown Live to talk about tonight. If you don't usually check out Fightful.com, we do post shows on virtually everything. SmackDown every single Tuesday. We got All Elite Wrestling whenever it gets on TV. We'll be doing that too. And when it moves to Friday, by God, we'll be there too. But on Wednesday, we have the List and Your Boy, myself and the founder of Fightful.com, Jimmy Van, every week for an hour. Bring you crazy news, wrestling news, interview clips, lots of neat stuff like that. But we also had the Fightful MMA podcast today. If you haven't already, do your boys at Fightful a big solid. Go to youtube.com/Fightful MMA Boxing. Subscribe to that channel and you will see our MMA podcast. But Alex, a big day for wrestling today.
Yeah, huge. I caught your news address earlier, and
the most notable news address that aired anywhere today.
Absolutely, by far. The other one I would say doesn't qualify as news, but anyway, yours. I agree. The biggest part of the signing, and to me most unexpected, and it moves the needles quite a bit, is the former Neville Pok signing. That will get a lot of people interested in coming over and working with this company. I feel like Pok is one of those guys that everybody wants to get in the ring with because he's just so spectacular. You could make a name off of losing to that guy. Like that's a huge deal. You're going to have people who are in indies who are going to want to wrestle him. And I mean, listen, I don't know exactly what happened between WWE and him, but what a great little, I mean, if this is what he did, what a great little dig at WWE saying, hey, I'm going to go work with these guys because you wasted me and I'm going to show you what I can do.
Well, we're going to talk more about this at length after our SmackDown review. I am very excited about that. A reminder, if you subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, our premium service, doing a Q&A show this week, you can ask as many as you want. Get on over there. Lots of stuff. There's something for everybody on that service. But let's go ahead and talk about SmackDown Live. There's plenty to get into after Raw. I had mentioned this, Alex, on Twitter. You can say what you want about WWE and the quality of the programming. Over the last two nights, at the very least, they have added stakes. There's an Intercontinental title match, a couple of tag title matches. They've announced several upcoming title matches. You've had a couple of top contender matches. That I appreciate. But to me, that's not quite enough to sing the praises of a new era.
Yeah, no, it's hardly a new era. I mean, we'll talk about a little bit about this, but you've got a McMahon now in the tag title picture, which I'm sure everybody was writing in letters saying, why isn't Shane McMahon a tag title holder? They had a lot of response to that, and to their credit, they listened to that one fan who wrote that letter probably, once a week for a couple of years. So it does feel like it's the same old thing, but under the guise of it. And yes, I'm never going to complain about getting matches with stakes involved in them and good matches as well. But I don't know if it's like, oh my God, brand new era, things you've never seen before. No, it's just good stuff that we've seen before.
Well, one of the things that I like is the different settings that we're seeing. I mentioned it about the Falls Count Anywhere match last night. Mm-hmm. This show started with Daniel Bryan up by the concession stands. And man, I love it when I'm proved wrong by guys like Daniel Bryan who can also deliver in the ring. Because if you would have said, oh, Daniel Bryan's going to run a You People gimmick, I would have said, oh, man, really? Why does he got to do that? Especially on the heels of Dean Ambrose doing a terrible one. Yeah. Man, Daniel Bryan's is so good. He is up there by the concession stands talking about how disgusting the concessions are, saying that all these people are making concessions by even being there. Talks about how bad the soda is because it's got so much high fructose corn syrup. He talks about how bad the hot dog is for you. He slaps a hot dog out of some guy's hand.
Yep.
It should have been Triple H. Then he would get like another title match or something.
It's true. Triple H has got to be there, right? I mean, the entire McMahon family's running both shows.
Daniel Bryan is on fire right now. Throws a soda in the face of a fan. Alex, this is good. Let's talk about when he's up there at the concourse by the concessions. I thought this was on fire.
This is very good. This is his normal in-ring promo with the use of props and extras. Like, I like that he's able to, like, because he's down there in the ring every week talking about how beef production in this country is ruining the climate, but instead now he's got the beef that's in this hot dog is ruined. Like, it's right there. It allows for a visual approximation of it. I like that. Visual aids are always good in a promo.
Alex, Daniel Bryan goes through the crowd and he talks about impotence and wants people to change it. And, all this talk of impotence and beef and buns and sticky substances has me. It's working me up, Alex.
Is it?
It's getting me. I gotta do it.
Okay.
BlueChew.com. If you are impotent and you want to change it, maybe you want to get your beef in between some buns. Maybe that's what you want to do. You can go to BlueChew.com and use that code FIGHTFUL. Get your first shipment free. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. But how about this? They're better, faster, cheaper. Why are they better? Well, because you can take them anytime, day or night. Why are they faster? It's a chewable. It gets in your system a lot quicker. Why is it cheaper? Well, because it ships straight to your door in a discreet package, mind you. You don't have to sit in line at the pharmacy. You don't have to go in person to see a doctor. It's all online. It's got FDA-approved active ingredients. My God. No more awkwardness. No more somebody in your face saying, impotent, change it. You can just change it yourself, whether you're impotent or not. Honestly, you don't have to be impotent to use this. You can use that code FIGHTFUL, though. Say $5 or pay $5 shipping. That's it. Your first shipment free. BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL. Let them know you heard about us at GetBlueChew on Twitter. Beef and buns. What do you like on your hot dogs?
I just like I'm a very simple plain yellow mustard. That's it.
Listen, I'm what is a mustard? What is it, from a seed?
It is. It's from a seed.
Okay. I don't know what I didn't know. I got to be honest. I had only we'll talk more about cons later, but I had only eaten like Cons hot dogs. And then last year I tried a gourmet hot dog. Mm-hmm. Like one that was actually meant to be a hot dog.
That has actual meat in it?
Its purpose was to be a hot dog
from animals that are supposed to be eaten, and parts of that animal that you recognize. Yes. Those are the good hot dogs.
It was fantastic. Shout out to Omaha Steaks, sponsor us. But yeah, it was good stuff. I was surprised. So Bryan comes through the crowd and gets attacked by R-Truth, and I mean R-Truth is really aggressive here.
Yeah,
he was on fire, like he was facing. Like he was facing the world champion.
Yes, that's true. Also, like said world champion came out and beat him down 2 weeks ago when he was wearing a Santa suit, which was entirely uncalled for, and R-Truth was right to want retribution.
Well, we get a match. Truth is on fire. We come back from a commercial to see his big hip toss and a flying kick, but things don't go his way very long. He eats a turnbuckle, then a knee to the face. R-Truth and Carmella are just the act that have worked real well for WWE. Yeah. Just a couple of people who I didn't think R-Truth was ever going to have any significant role. Carmella, I thought her best days, admittedly, were behind her after her run. I thought, okay, she had her run. She'll be here and there. She's in the main event tonight. R-Truth, on the other end of the show, is working the world champion weeks after they win Mixed Match Challenge. Oh, by the way, they are also a comedy act when you need them to be. Little scoopski here. I don't know how accurate it is, but Jack Swagger tells Fightful that R-Truth may be performing at Bellator in a couple weeks.
Wow.
How about that one? Little scoopski for Ewans. I had that one on Fightful Select, but in R-Truth at his age, in his mid to late 40s. I love seeing this, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really great story that this guy like caught on being the guy who, my bad. That's Untruth. Sorry, the guy who brings a ladder match to the Royal Rumble is he's really great at doing what he's been doing, and like go back on the network and find some stuff that he did. I don't know. It's like at the beginning of this decade, pretty much. Where he was a serious contender for stuff, like an actual serious person having serious matches. It's hard to think of now, but like he was a real guy for a while. And when he first broke in, when he was K-Quick in the WWE, I was like, this kid is gonna do some stuff. And then he went away because he went over to TNA. But like at the time when he was really early, when he was teaming with Road Dogg for a while, I was like, this guy's so athletic. He's gonna. The sky's the limit for him. Now he never lived up to my expectations at that time, but I also would not have told you almost 20 years from then that he'd still be in WWE having matches on SmackDown with the WWE champion. I would not have said that either.
It's really impressive, and I like it. And it's something that we can talk about. We have the luxury of doing sidebars like this because, I mean, the show's 2 hours long, and we don't have. But he's going to be 47 in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
This wasn't happening very much in the Attitude Era or prior. It happened in the 80s some because nobody was bumping back then. And when I say nobody, I don't mean that literally. Don't get your panties in a wad, old schoolers. But I think Warren brought up a really good point on the retro reviews. Once Vince McMahon started bumping, the ring changed.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people look at it and they say, oh, well, when Mick Foley went through the cage, probably a little bit more to do with when Vince McMahon started to bump.
Yeah.
But I think that's helped a lot of people. On the other side, you heard Mick Foley saying that it may have shortened his career a little bit because he had to adjust from running in a ring that was really hard to one that's soft. And anybody who is ran on grass as opposed to AstroTurf or anything like that can kind of explain you that difference. But I think it's cool, man. R-Truth doesn't have to be in a big storyline, but what he does has not been offensive to me. Like nothing. I hate that he has this stereotypical character. And I do like that on occasion it's revealed that he's smarter than everybody else.
Yes.
And that's what I like. That makes it fair to me that he is an opportunist.
Yeah, I will say, you said that he's never been offensive to you. Golden Truth was offensive to me.
Well,
that offended me. I'm happy they got rid of it, and I'm happy that they were like, okay, we're gonna have this. Goldust is gonna turn on R-Truth, and then nothing. And a year and a half later, R-Truth is 2 years later, I think, is going to be number 30 in the Royal Rumble, and I never would have predicted that either.
As Daniel Bryan leaves, he gets attacked on the ramp by AJ Styles. AJ Styles, the Pitbull. Show me what you got. Grab that brass ring.
Yeah.
What we got. So now he's a rabid dog. Daniel Bryan's leaving backstage and he goes off. So many of the wrestling tropes, when Daniel Bryan does them, he does them right. Like screaming into the camera and all that. It's good when he does it. He does it well.
It feels justified. Too many guys when they do a screamy promo, they don't build. It just starts, and also it feels like, hey, dude, take it down a notch. You know, it doesn't feel like they're outraged at anything justifiably. But his in this thing, like he was very hot under the collar for AJ Styles coming to attack him. And I really liked it. I thought it was effective. It showed that he's also a little nuts. And I think that you want that in your heel champion, that you don't know what he's capable of if he goes off.
Up next, as reported on FightfulSelect.com, we had Andre Cien, Ulmus, and Samoa Joe defeating Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali. There is some stuff to talk about here for a pointless tag team match.
Yep.
Well, first off, it's good.
It's very good.
Also, subscribe to Fightful Select. Joe and Ali trade strikes early. Ali gets the better of it with a couple of drop kicks. Ray gets caught with this naughty spinning back elbow. And I'm always, I'm a big fan of the spinning back elbow. Have been since John Jones dropped Stephen Bonner with it. It's a great move. But the way that Andrade Cien Almas alters the way that he does it, like he'll either almost land that teep kick or he'll miss. This one was a good one. Ray is able to respond with a reverse infrared. Ali capitalized with a rolling face buster and a tornado DDT. Before the commercial break, before we get into the move, we see a move that should have been the move.
Right.
And that's Samoa Joe hitting this crazy fall-away slam onto the table, Alex.
Yeah.
These guys have a lot more leeway these days.
They really do. And we'll talk about how much they have in a little bit in this match. But at this point, when I saw this match was happening, I was like, man, this is how you should be using Ray and Joe right now. These are two veterans who've, Joe not here, but certainly in his career. These are two guys who've had their time in the sun. And they're older. And you have these other two guys who really, if WWE wanted to, could absolutely be faces of this company in 5 and 6 years from now. And what you got to do is get those guys over and get the crowd to love them or hate them, depending on what they are. And there's no two better guys on that roster in SmackDown than Joe and Ray to do that. I feel like you should keep these 4 guys together in different combinations and use Ray and Joe to get over Mustafa and Andrade. And that doesn't mean losing to them a whole bunch. You can figure out a way to do both. But this foursome is just, it could be something really great for Mustafa and Andrade.
Then we get the move, Alex.
The move.
Ray and Andrade Cien Almas coming back from a break, go into a wrist lock spot where honestly Ray's shoulders were pinned, but I was able to forgive that when I saw a launching Canadian destroyer.
Yeah.
Now, we're not talking the Trevor Murdoch half-ass version that he did to Matt Hardy back in the day.
No.
Where it was a sunset flip bomb. This is, and somebody tried to say, oh, well, that's on Ulmus. Ray was doing a sunset flip bomb. No, he wasn't. This was intended and delivered and sold as a Canadian destroyer, and not a normal one. One where Ray was launched up in the air, caught, and flipped back. What?
Yeah, this is not something you normally see in a WWE ring. This is something you see in PWG, but this is not that. It took me by surprise seeing it. I loved it. It was smooth as buttered silk. It was so wonderful. The execution of it. This is one of those things. Like I tweeted out, like I want more Mustafa and Samoa Joe matches because I just love the idea of Mustafa being tossed around by guys much bigger than him and what that means for how it affects his selling. I also need a very extended Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Almas, classic luchador protecting the lore of what that means with the mask and everything versus former luchador, now too pretty to wear the mask, but still can do all the things in the ring. Like that storyline is so ripe to be told between Rey and Almas. You could do that literally for half a year off and on of that rivalry. That it could be so good. There's so much a potential here for the new era to have really great new stuff. This match could be the beginning of that. It also could be a one-shot thing they forget about in a week.
I jokingly said, cancel AEW because WWE is doing pile drivers right now. That was outstanding. I don't expect pile drivers or variations of them to become the norm by any stretch of the imagination. But hey, if they're giving these guys more leeway and maybe there are some concessions, no pun intended, made to allow this, but you got to stay on the cutting edge, especially if you have potential new competitors emerging and you've got all these other people who are delivering in the ring. You got to make these pointless tag team matches stand out in some degree. And they did it. They did it here. And I couldn't have been more shocked. I loudly cursed at my television set. Pardon my language, guys, but I screamed, "Oh, fuck!" Now, not because it was some amazing move. It was, though.
Yeah.
But because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And hey, that's something that I crave in pro wrestling. Ali sails over Ulmus to hit a tope con Hilo on Joe, but Ulmus catches Ray 619 with a gutbuster and the hammerlock DDT for the win. This was neat. I think the right guys got the win, too, because Ali has been strong. He didn't get pinned.
Yep.
Ulmus needed it.
He really badly did. Gosh, I keep thinking about how his 2016 and 2017, that those few months where he beat Drew and was the title holder and had those matches with Gargano. Like, I thought to myself, man, there's no way they can hold this guy back if he makes it to the main roster. And they did for the entirety of 2017 when he was 2018 when he was there. And I was just like, now there's a new chance to like really rebuild him, and Ray is the perfect guy to work with him to do that. I
would agree. Reminder, guys, this Saturday, Warren Hayes and Diva Dirt's Kristen Ashley will be bringing you the WWE NXT UK TakeOver post-show podcast. Make sure you guys tune into that. Warren also hosts the 205 Live NXT review on Fightful Select. Right now at Fightful Select, for Tier 2 members, I have my SmackDown match ratings, which go up tomorrow on the free site. We get a sad Rusev Day as a somber Rusev is in the ring. I do like that he found a way to shoehorn in that he has the body of 1,000 Hemsworth brothers.
Yes, that's fine. That's good.
He blames Nakamura for hurting Lana. We get Lana chants. She works as a babyface as we always expected that she would.
Yes.
No surprise. Rusev wants to fight Nakamura for harming his wife, and Nakamura is in the TV truck to prove it isn't his fault. And it kind of isn't.
Right.
So what's the deal here, Alex?
The deal is this is insulting because Lana is a wrestler now.
Mm-hmm.
She wrestles. She's been in many matches. She fell from 3 feet onto a flat back. She took a bump. There's no reason for her to be out for several weeks.
She could have gotten a concussion.
Okay, fine.
In
storyline, but I mean, it felt like I have to defend the honor of my wife, who's too fragile to be in the ring with us big men. You have a mixed match challenge now, and in every one of those matches, though they were not legal at the time, the woman got offense on the man. It always happened. That was a thing you always allowed to happen. So this is the idea that they're in the ring all the time. In that same aforementioned Santa Claus beatdown that R-Truth got from Daniel Bryan, Carmella was standing there and did nothing. And I thought to myself, come on, you've been in the mixed match. You won the mixed match challenge. At least throw a kick in there, do something. But this is why WWE has proven with this particular angle that they're never going to do anything intergender in the league. You had Ronda Rousey beat the hell out of Triple H at Mania. You can do it. You've shown that you're available to do that. In this case, and this is a woman who's going to probably be in the Royal Rumble. She's a wrestler now. She takes bumps. It's insulting to think that she can't take that bump. It's just you can do a better job with this storyline than that.
I agree. And for the lack of rematches, mandatory rematches, the champions seem to be getting them with regularity, don't they?
They do. They do.
Speaking of, the Usos cut a basic Uso promo before their match. But backstage, Miz wants Shane McMahon to abuse his power to put them in a title match. Now, while I'm not clamoring for a Shane McMahon tag team, I love the use of him. And I love the use of Miz with him because the Miz is still a slimy bastard. And Shane is like, I'm not doing that. Come on. But Shane is really a slimy bastard.
Yes.
And that's what this entire story is showcasing, that even though he's trying to do right, he is still a slimy bastard.
Yeah.
And is so much like the Miz that, of course, they're going to be a good team together.
Yeah. This is not clamoring for Shane O'Mac tag title run. But if you say, this is what good TV writing can be. You have established characters, right? And you put them together and things happen out of that situation, because if The Miz somehow convinced the boss's son the commissioner of SmackDown Live to be his tag team partner, of course, The Miz would expect that guy who's been a bad dude in the past and used his power for the wrong reasons to cut corners and just give them a title match. That's what he would do. So allowing that to be the thing is fine. I also like that there's a little bit of a gray area with Shane. Like, I'll team with you, but I don't know if I want to do this. But you can tell like there's a bit of him being dragged back into that area. I don't know if this team is going to turn Miz face or turn Shane heel, but I feel like one of those two things is going to happen with this team.
We've thought that about some other acts, though.
We have.
Several of them. Sasha Bailey, Rude and Gable.
Well, no, but I'm not saying like heel on each other. I'm saying that right now Miz is the heel because he's the slimy guy who wants to cut corners, and Shane's saying no. They can be like, I will team with you, but we have differences. The same way we had with Cesaro and Sheamus. Like, one guy was the face, the other guy was the heel. They were forced to team together, and along the way, as they were doing, Cesaro turned and was more like Sheamus than he was like Cesaro as he started. That's what I'm saying here. I'm saying either Miz becomes more like Shane or Shane becomes more like Miz. You have all these great tag teams, and you might be bringing another one up in Heavy Machinery who could absolutely work.
Don't see them in the title picture.
But I'm saying I don't want to see Shane holding the belt for like 4 months while other tag teams who are actual tag teams are being pushed aside.
Understandable. Definitely understandable in that situation. This match, this SmackDown tag title match, is pretty standard through the first commercial break, but then after the first one, it really picks up. Sheamus gets a white noise, and Cesaro does a beautiful flying elbow drop. Jimmy Uso makes the tag and does what all WWE tag teams do in this instance, run wild. Samoan drop, asses to the face, suicide dive. There's a double kick in the corner on Sheamus that's good for a 2 count. Then we get another commercial as the crowd is bumping. Action is fast-paced through the commercial. We're welcomed back by a Cesaro swing and a sharpshooter. Cesaro eats a super kick flying off the top rope. And then Mandy Rose's music hits. Yeah. And she comes out wearing significantly more than she does when she wrestles.
Yeah.
In the form of a towel. Distracts. Cesaro gets a neutralizer and a win. I get where WWE is to where they don't want to go like Scarlet Bordeaux with Mandy Rose. But again, like, don't insult the viewer in that regard. Yeah. Like, we just think of something else.
Yeah.
We see what she wears every week.
Yeah. Well, yes, but this is just so lame. The whole thing of, I mean, it was a great match. And you to have it end because Mandy Rose in a towel appears, it doesn't do justice to the match that happened, and it's a really lazy, terrible, shitty storyline. That Mandy is lying about having left her gear in Jimmy's hotel room to what? Piss off Naomi? Like, to what end? It's lazy and shitty and stupid. And every female wrestling commentator and writer that I follow on Twitter was like, this is disgusting. WWE, I hate you. And it's really terrible. Like, you could find other ways of getting these women to have a feud other than over a man. It's like if your wrestling storylines don't pass the Bechdel test, stop it.
I'm okay with sexually charged storylines and some stuff like that, but man, at least make it interesting. Yeah. Jesus. Don't make it an insult of our intelligence. She literally wears less in the ring. Was the deal? Oh my God. Is Jimmy a foot guy? Is he a feet guy? Because she didn't have her boots on.
Yeah.
Is he one of those guys? I don't know. Well, backstage, Mandy reveals that she was wearing her gear underneath. So it reminded me of Farva on Super Troopers. Like, I got you good, you fucker. Like one of those. Like, okay, Mandy had the soap and the coffee. You got him. Well, the brawl backstage was phenomenal. Yeah. These girls were throwing.
Yes.
Sonya, Naomi, and Mandy. Did you see the video that I tweeted out.
No, I missed it.
Of the so WWE's Instagram or Twitter filmed it being filmed, and you just see a cameraman going,
oh no,
and like juking people out of their ACLs, like it's Allen Iverson in 2001, and he's the only guy on the team that can do anything. And like I swear he's about to cross these girls up. It was hilarious when you see what these guys have to do because of a WWE command. He is shuffling. Like I guarantee you, when Rey Mysterio came back, that's where his knee braces went to because they can't take it. They can't take it. It was phenomenal. The zoom was terrible. The shake was terrible. But man, this brawl ruled. They were throwing some heavy strikes. Anything?
I can't. I think that instead of Naomi walking up with her giant heeled shoes and tossing to the side, just go in there swinging those things, man. Just those are great. You're not in a match. There's no rules against foreign objects or weapons in the ring. This is a falls count anywhere. Swing them shoes, girl.
Well, whenever WWE inevitably adopts the Pros versus Joes show for WWE Network, I look forward to a cameraman hitting a spin move on some just jobber.
Yeah.
Jobber. Who's this guy? You're about to learn. I love the brawl, though. Top contender match. We get individual promos from each of these women ahead of this match. What did you think of those?
They were all decent and good. I think Carmella has a really good point. Like, she was the champ for 130 days. Yeah, they booked her like, this coward who needed James Ellsworth to win matches, but she did have a very long, by standards, title run. So like, she shouldn't be just an afterthought who has no chance in the match. As we saw later in the match, she certainly more than held her own. I think Becky's on fire. Anything she says is gold. And Charlotte was very convincing as well. All these women really knocked these promos out of the park.
So I think Carmella is booked like a former champion now in the ring and all that. And I like that because she earned that. Yeah. She worked really hard and got better to the point to, if you remember, when Charlotte came back, she was rusty.
Yes.
And we were like, did Carmella just carry Charlotte through that match? Because it seemed like it.
Yeah, it did.
Well, this was another good match. No surprise. We come back from a commercial to see Becky doing the deadly drive on Charlotte onto Carmella. If you all don't remember what that is, it's the old Ric Flair body slam off the top rope spot. Carmella does a flatliner on Becky, but then applies a code of silence on Charlotte. Charlotte ends up taking both women out. At this point, I was thinking, you know what's not a big deal? That these women are headlining now. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, it would have been like, oh my God, the women are headlining. I love that this is the situation, and it's not treated as a novelty. It's nothing like that. You just know it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, and I don't think even the most, troll dickhead, misogynistic fan could actually say, oh, it's just like affirmative action. They're just being given a spot. They don't really deserve it. It's all just, because of equality. Like, that was the stuff they were saying back when they had Charlotte versus Sasha Banks.
I guarantee you at least two of those will find this show and comment about what a snowflake you are. It never fails, right?
Never fails. Yeah, at least there was. I'm pretty sure I'm still on some guy's list of internet shit dicks.
That was the best.
Yeah.
I think you sent me the image. You were like, Alex Pawlowski has been added to the list. Internet shit dicks.
Yep.
He got suspended. I remember that guy got suspended from Twitter.
Yeah,
it's a shocker. Well, Charlotte gets a moonsault on both opponents. We come back and Carmella is on fire, stratosphere, and a nice suicide dive on Carmella. Charlotte goes for her moonsault and breaks her butt.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself when you said Charlotte hits the moonsault on both of them. I was like, well, she made up for that later when she hit it on neither of them. That was listen. I've always said that sometimes with these out of the ring moonsaults or suicide dives or whatever, I understand they have to be there to catch them. because that's how wrestling works. But how in an actual fight you could look up, see that somebody's jumping, and not just skedaddle out of the way. Like, I love that. There's a great shot from the stands of that spot, and you could totally just see Becky and Carmella going nope, and just out of frame. Great.
Technically, she averaged landing the moonsault on one person per attempt.
That's a good average.
That's a solid average. That's a successful average. Becky does a Bexploder on Carmella outside, then Charlotte back in the ring. I love the natural selection off the ropes.
Yeah, especially in this particular context, because it was to Becky trying to get the disarmer on Carmella. I love in triple threat matches where people are able to find new ways of hitting their signature moves on people who are attempting signature moves of the against the other guy. I think it's always really cool, and this one was nice.
It was very nice. Good on Charles Robinson, who counts the pins on people even when they weren't. Like, I think Becky's shoulders were down and she was just selling. He's like, you better kick out.
Yeah.
That's the way you're supposed to call it. Charlotte has a Carmella in a figure eight, and Becky does a flying leg drop.
Oh, great.
Rolls over into a disarmer. Carmella kicks her. Carmella seemed like she was getting winded at this point.
Yeah.
I think she was like, but then she gets tapped out.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have is I'm tired of the Charlotte didn't get beat, so she's going to see. She's seething by the barricade shot. It feels like I've seen that 100 times.
You have.
But this was good. I want to know what you thought of the match and the decision to go with Becky against Asuka at the Rumble.
Yeah, the match was fantastic. It exceeded my expectations for it, which is always a plus. I thought it was going to be good. I did not think it was going to be this good. I honestly thought they were going to. It's hard for me to believe they were going to give it to Carmella, knowing that she was also going to be 30 in the Royal Rumble, like guaranteed. It was a kind of a weird thing. I'm of either Becky or Charlotte. A one-on-one match with Asuka, I would rather see Becky because I haven't seen that before. Or if I have, it's in no way has it been like memorable. But yeah, Becky versus Asuka has its roots in a long time ago when Bayley was facing Asuka in NXT, and Becky and Charlotte were there with Sasha in the front row cheering on Bayley, and Becky was just trash talking Asuka the entire match, and Asuka said some stuff back to her, and I really hope they dig that footage up for the promo video for this thing going into the Royal Rumble, because I love that there's that kind of history. But I will say, I was kind of hoping for a Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble and then picking Ronda and us getting that match at Mania. And people are saying to me, oh, well, she could still go into the Rumble after she loses to Asuka. And I'm like, yeah, but that's stupid. It was stupid when Roman Reigns did it. And it would be stupid if Becky does it too, no matter how much I love Becky. I think that there should be a rule. If you compete earlier in the night, you're not in the Rumble. Like, I don't like when people do double duty.
I think there is a way that you could do it. I mean, look back at the 96 Rumble when Diesel had when the Rumble wasn't the main event.
Right.
You had Diesel attack, I think it was Undertaker or Bret Hart after he was salty or whatever. You know, say they do right after Rousey and Sasha Banks, they do Becky and Asuka.
Yeah.
And as they meet each other on the ramp, Rousey attacks. It leads to a win for Asuka. You can have Becky fight from underneath from the Rumble. There are ways they can do it, but if you keep giving Becky title shots like this, it's hard to further the idea in which they have crafted that Becky is being held back and that she's fighting the system and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what their plans are for WrestleMania. I'm not going to pretend to know what they are. They change all the time. It's got to be Becky needs to be in that main event and Ronda needs to be in that main event. If you want to throw Charlotte in too, I'm cool with that. I think it'd be great. But they definitely need to be in that main event. That should headline the show. Brock Lesnar versus anybody shouldn't. After what I saw last night, Braun Strowman versus anybody shouldn't.
No.
Maybe another year. It needs to be Becky and Ronda.
Yeah, it does. I mean, legitimately, that's the storyline that you have progressed for several months now. That is perfect to build up all that stuff with Becky and Ronda, and from way back at like SummerSlam all the way to the next WrestleMania. That's how you should be doing it. So there's no other storyline that even comes close to measuring up to that one that you've been telling for several months. That's the main event. It needs to be. How you get there, I'm open to figuring out, but you gotta get to that point, I think.
All Elite Wrestling Rally was held today. We did live coverage of it. I have a 30-minute discussion up on it right now. I'm going to field a bunch of questions for the Fightful Select Q&A show. Let's talk about the ramifications. First off, there was a lot of controversy about people wearing All Elite gear not being let into SmackDown Live. There were subsequent rumors that it was manufactured by Pro Wrestling Tees. That is not the case. I heard from over a half dozen people that were not let in. There were rumors that it was caused by rowdiness. That was not the case. There is a pretty blatant video where a security guard admits, we weren't allowed to let you all in, now we are. WWE PR later issued a statement saying they are being let into the arena, did not comment on the fact that they were not earlier. The situation was eventually rectified. Cody himself said, if I were them, I probably wouldn't do that. This is a soft town for them. We should probably let people in. And people on the hard camera side who were wearing All Elite shirts or All In shirts were offered and given, or not offered. They were told, here's a WWE shirt, wear it. Talent announcement. Now, how about this one? I saw Ryan Satin tweet that Fightful alumni actually still contributes to us sometime. Chris Harrington is helping out All Elite Wrestling go slow enough with their money to allow them to take care of the people they want to take care of. That's another good friend of Fightful doing some really cool stuff. If you all don't check out the WrestleNomics podcast, I don't know how, what their schedule is. I know they had mentioned they might not be doing it anymore. I don't know if this is a reason why, but I am a big supporter of what Brandon Howard and what Chris Harrington do. So good for him or them in whatever capacity they're working on this, because it's a good person to have on your side. They announced Billy Gunn as an agent.
Yep.
I like that one. How do you feel about that?
That's good. No, absolutely.
By the way, I do have a full roster of All Elite Wrestling up right now. They also announced that they would be working with the Chinese company OWE. I think this is a good way to supplement your tag team division, supplement some of your undercard and midcard.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's literally over 1 billion people who could be part of your market share at that point. So why not?
And it's not like you're shoehorning people in who are completely untrained. They have exposure in that market as well. Joey Janela and Penelope Ford. Now, I don't know the specifics of their relationship and if it were really on the rocks, but by all indications, it looked like they worked a breakup on Twitter.
Yeah.
Penelope had a WWE tryout. Joey Janela had said that he was out for upwards of a year with a knee injury. I told you guys, be weary of that. Cody says he'll still be allowed to promote his Joey Janela spring break shows. I think that builds a lot of goodwill. And if you can get Janela to help you run some venues like that and do some AEW spring break shows, that ain't a bad idea either, Alex, because he's sold out with the tickets sky high for those events.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a completely unique thing. And if you can figure out a way of getting your fingerprints on that, it's not a bad idea.
SCU, we kind of knew they were going to be involved. No surprise there.
No.
Of course, they have Hangman Page, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, Cody Rhodes. But one that performed it all in, everybody was saying, you need heels, you need heels. They got one in the form of MJF. A lot of people had kind of outed themselves as not being familiar with MJF. It's okay. The guy's 22 years old. Yeah. Saw a lot of people like joking, discount Miz and cutting the contrived pro wrestling promos. He's good at them. You could do a lot worse than if your first impression from somebody is discount Miz, because that's still pretty goddamn good. And let me tell you guys, comparatively speaking from age, MJF is way ahead of where the Miz was at this point.
I think the Miz is still on the real world at 22, if not later.
Yes. I like that signing. You also have, on the women's side of things, Brandy Rhodes, of course. But
yes,
the new term that I like, If I ask for a raise, I'm going to ask for Britt Baker money, Alex. Cody reveals that the women are going to get paid the same as the men. Oh, and by the way, Britt Baker's a dentist on the side.
Yeah.
You want to talk about rolling in it. Who's going to have the more expensive car in that relationship? Adam Cole or Britt Baker? Because she's doing it, man.
Yeah.
She is a wonderful person. I was going to interview her ahead of All In. We couldn't make it work. She hits me up 3 months later. I'm going to suggest probably around the time this was being negotiated, and said, hey, I was clearing out some emails. Let's make this interview happen. I want to make good on this. I had a wealth of respect to her for that. And the fact that she was wrestling while in dental school and is now still a full-time dentist under a 1-year dental contract, signed with All Elite, getting paid on the same plane. That's a nice move for all involved. There's a lot of positive to this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talked about this on the show earlier today. The idea that they're going to pay the women as much as the men, that's a pretty awesome thing in 2019 to start with. And moving on from there, like that's a big deal. And you're going to see a lot of the women in WWE when their contracts are up. I mean, like, that's cool. I think I'm going to go make Cody Rhodes money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or Hangman Page money in that case. But like, it's that kind of thing. It's big. It's really big.
If you're All Elite Wrestling, you have to make a play for the likes of Sasha Banks, who I straight up tell my social media guys, hey, if we have a Sasha Banks article, go to the Facebook groups, the Sasha Banks fan groups, post the article in there. She has the most loyal fans. There are sectors of women's wrestling that have these just unbelievably loyal fan bases that All Elite Wrestling should go after. And listen, I think they've done good in signing Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. I like Britt Baker. She's got a great look. She can work in the ring. She's smart. She knows the right people. She's trained under the right people. Another good signing. The two that really turned heads, I should say. Chris Jericho, who at one point said he would never work on American soil for anybody but Vince McMahon. That's changed. And you got to wonder, a year and a half ago when Chris Jericho walked through that door and he said, hey, I'm going to do a cruise next year. Can I use some of your NXT guys? And WWE, well, he asked them. Then they, from what I understand, they flew him there, then told him no. Wonder how much that conversation was the catalyst for New Japan, then the cruise, then Ring of Honor talent, then this. Because I'll tell you one thing, there are people in WWE who think it was the catalyst.
Very well could be.
Jericho, a guy who was so loyal for so long, literally the most he did to spite WWE was he let TNA run a Fozzy video on their show. That's the most.
Yeah.
They got Chris Jericho, man.
A lot of these guys who are old timers, and make no mistake, Chris Jericho at this point is an old timer. They value two-way loyalty very, very highly. And if they feel like they've been loyal to a company or to an organization, and then that loyalty does not feel like it's being reciprocated, that loyalty is then out the window. I've been good to you. You got to be good to me back. Otherwise, then I'm going to be bad to you. I mean, that's just the case for a lot of these guys. And that may be the catalyst. I don't know if it is, but I will say it sure looks like he's been having a blast with all of his New Japan stuff that they never let Jericho do in WWE. And now, like, this is the last few years of his in-ring career, probably. You might as well go out on your own terms the way you want to do it. So go ahead, man.
The rumors are that the Young Bucks and Cody signed 5-year deals. They also nabbed, arguably, unless you're including CM Punk and Kenny Omega, the biggest free agent out there. You could throw Batista in that mix too if you want.
Sure.
But the former Neville, now known as Pok, again, you needed heels. You sure as hell got one. Oh, by the way, you set up your match for All In, Hangman or Double or Nothing, Hangman Page and Neville.
Yep.
That's a hell of a get, Alex.
It really, really is. Again, he was just outstanding every time he stepped into a ring for WWE, even when he was doing nothing. But his run as cruiserweight champ, and then they were like, "Oh no, we're going a different direction now. It's going to be the all Enzo division." I don't blame him for being upset about that after all the stuff that he did for them, and going off and just voluntarily taking that much time off because of the contract that he was still under, and then just showing up and Dragon Gate and going, here I am, and parlaying that into this. And we don't know what this is going to be, but as I said before, you're going to have a lot of guys want to work for your company just so they can get in the ring with Pac.
CM Punk straight up said he would listen to an All Elite deal.
Yeah.
If I hear that, Alex, is that, lots of people say they want to work with me and reach out, but nobody makes an offer.
Yeah. If you're Cody Rhodes, you call Mr. Khan and you set up a conference call with Mr. Punk and you get that thing signed tomorrow, because that would be an earthquake in this business if they got that done. Huge.
Would be a big time deal for Neville. He is a top level talent who can talk too. He's proven that he can talk. Looks like $1 million. He is WWE wanted to run with him, but they didn't have the opportunity, or he left. Quite frankly, he left. He wasn't happy. He got out of there. There is just, man, they've announced Double or Nothing for May 25th in Las Vegas. They've announced a summer show in Jacksonville where some of the profits will go to the victims of gun violence, which I think is a fantastic idea. They did and said a lot of the right things. That is not a shock for Cody Rhodes in a media setting. He's very good at that. I want to say you could sure as hell tell that Brandy Rhodes has had experience hosting things, because dare I say she was the best person at that press conference. She should be doing that type of stuff full on. She is a great pick as chief brand officer.
Yeah.
I think that she's just natural. She's genuine in that role. Very, very good in that regard as well. We have some questions in the chat, but I want to save most of the Q&A for Fightful Select. It's a benefit of the subscribers. They say, who would you stay away from? Alex, I would stay away from Enzo. I would stay away from Cass. I would stay away from Austin Aries and Alberto Del Rio.
Yes, all four. Those should be like, you approach those guys with a hazmat suit. Just no. Unless
you can lure away from MLW whoever the hell it is that has Low Key and Teddy Hart working.
Yeah.
Whoever got them to do whatever it is they're doing now.
Yeah.
If you can get that person, is it Court Bauer? Make a play for him. What's the harm? Yeah. I don't know what's going on in MLW to where they got at the same time at a point in the universe, Teddy Hart and Low Key. Yeah, we'll do whatever you guys want. No big deal. Okay. Man, we were sarcastically covering Low Key webinars a few months ago. Who knew?
Yeah.
Guys, I want you to leave a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe. We got lots of cool stuff. We have the Listing Your Boy Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tune in. Lots of cool stuff on Select. But most importantly, visit FightfulWrestling.com. Thank you guys so much. Alex, what do you got going on this week?
Not a whole lot. I want to try and catch up on fully on NXT UK before the show on Saturday, because I really like what I'm watching from those guys. This is a big month leading up to the Royal Rumble, but I can't say how much I'm looking forward to NXT UK to take over.
Guys, as we end the show here, we have just passed 6 million views on YouTube on this channel. I want to thank you guys so much. We are completely independent. We have, fortunately, a founder in Jimmy Van who has been very generous in supporting our vision. We could very well be a pro wrestling website that does 2-line stories, 1 paragraph, no background, real lazy shit, man. That's not what Jimmy Van wants. He understands the vision of good writing, good substance, breaking our own news instead of always relying on other people's. We do have other people's too, because we know if you don't get it here, you'll get it from somewhere else. But he understands that. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here. We have I don't know where we are on the MMA channel, but here on the Pro Wrestling channel, 6 million views. That means so much to me. And your all support means a lot to me too. Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. Visit Fightful.com. We're out.